Good afternoon and thank you for having us. My name's Adam Marshall. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Grass Valley. And as many of you have been using Grass Valley solutions for many years, for cameras, for switches, and production systems and playout alike, what we've been hearing about from some of the panels today is the constant drive or continue to drive to lower your operating costs and really drive efficiencies and agility in your solutions. So it's somewhat timely then that I'm joined by Kerrin from Progetti, who can help speak of one of our latest deployments with the AMP platform in Italy for NVP. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So, Frank, can you tell us a little bit about who Serie C are and some of the challenges they brought to you?
So NVP are a production company who produce mainly sports events for multiple broadcasters in Italy. Serie C is effectively the third division in Italy, and NVP had already been producing Serie B, and they got the production rights from the host broadcaster Sky for the Serie C coverage.
And what the key aspects they brought to it in terms of, we've got some of the items on the screen there around agility and cost efficiency. What were the key challenges that you saw from it?
Well, the main challenge was they got the rights on the 9th of August. For the first set of matches was 1st of September, so maths, that's 3 weeks. And 3 weeks at a time, of course, when everybody is on holidays. And we had 3 weeks from the get-go to have 10 production galleries, up to 10 simultaneous or on the same day productions in their production center in Milan.
And I guess the need to scale is a big aspect there as well, right? So as we went in, you mentioned there the kind of Serie B piece with the 2110 architecture. That was their kind of first foray into the AMP and software-based solutions, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So what we had done, we had built for them about a year ago, just over a year ago, a 2110 multi-tier facility. So at the core of it was effectively a tier 1 2110 production facility, and around that there were a number of production suites and galleries that they could feed into that and do other types of production. So what they did with Serie B was that we used AMP for contribution. So we had contribution of all of the cameras from the grounds, and that was received by the AMP edge servers that were in the facility, and those AMP servers had 2110 cards that fed into the facility, and they also obviously they have the network connections, I guess, RT and NDI as well.
So integrating the kind of AMP solutions into the traditional Grass Valley and 2110 infrastructure, of course. And I think with the control and monitoring platform over the top of it, that's kind of pretty important for these customers in terms of reducing their overheads from a support perspective, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's effectively a single integrated system that's almost all one supplier.
So then if we shift into the Serie C deployment itself then, the scale's pretty significant for a 3-week build, so can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, well, we built it on the cloud, and I think that's the only way we would have been able to do that in the 3-week timescale. So we built 10 cloud compute nodes. We put 5 in Frankfurt and 5 in Dublin for some redundancy. You can see on the slides there it says 12 because they asked us for another 2, and it was fairly easy to do after that. Coupled with that, of course, is that the fact that 10 compute nodes in the cloud are not much use on their own. So we had to build them 10 operator galleries as well. And you can see that the operator galleries, you can see the numbers there, 1,100 games in 10 months, 30 games every weekend. Now that's a lot of production to do in one weekend. And one of the main, the key requirements was that one operator can handle the whole event. So they do vision mixing, audio mixing, replay, and graphics. And we had to simplify the operation as much as possible. So if you look there, you can see we've put as much as possible onto simple control panels. There's a MIDI panel for the audio. So audio is mostly set up in advance. Just some volume control on the MIDI panel. We had a stream deck for vision mixing and graphics, and a Shuttle Pro for the live replay. And the operators there's 2 mini computers in each suite, each with 2 screens. They've got 4 screens, and everything is done from that. And all of that they're all pieces that you can get from Amazon in a few days.
And you mentioned the APIs earlier to me in terms of the integrations that's allowed you to kind of be able to deliver.
Yeah, so AMP and the graphics, we used Singular Live as well, being API driven was what allowed us to put everything, to give them the simplicity and put everything onto panels. We also have, you can see in the picture there, in the next slide, I think it is, the system dashboard. System dashboard is a very powerful tool that we can use for monitoring and control. So immediately you've got an overview of your system architecture. You know how everything fits together. The routing is all drag and drop. The monitoring, the alarms come up and you can see them on the screen immediately. You can get the status of everything just by clicking on it. You can, if you click on the little bar underneath, you open up the GUI for any application. So it's very simplified and very powerful. And on the bottom left, there's a series of buttons, and they're basically the API control, which you can dive from the dashboard, and they're the ones that we ported to the Stream Deck as well.
And in the last few minutes we have to speak about this. So one other use case that you've been working on recently is for Epica, for remote audio commentary. Do you want to describe what we're doing there?
Yeah, so Epica cover horse racing throughout Italy, and they've also got some contracts abroad. They got a contract for delivery of Italian horse racing to Australia, and they wanted English commentators. You know, so they had to reach a bit further afield than they normally would. So they wanted to be able to, they wanted a solution where the commentators could sit in their homes with their laptop and do the commentary for the races. And we built that in the cloud. It's basically just an audio mixer with the commentators feeding into it. There's some, they can brand it if they want, and then the output goes to AWS Media Connect. Then using the AWS backbone, it gets carried to Australia and then delivered to the final customer.
And I mean, for all of these items, the ability for the platform to essentially have audio mixing, live production, asset management, replay, playout, the likes all together, that's allowing these customers to be able to scale or adapt as they need to on the fly, right? So hopefully, well, I know we've got some projects coming up as well over the next couple of months I'm deploying, and hopefully we get to speak again very soon for you guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you.